Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our WNBA preview for the four-game slate here on May 18th. If you haven't already checked out the website, you'll see here Fast Break Fantasy Hoops. We've got all the things you need for DraftKings, Prize Picks, Underdog, whichever site you choose, mainly specializing in college basketball and WNBA, but we do have a little bit of NBA stuff on there. But again, I want to just do a quick preview of the slate. You can kind of see, I'm going to walk through my minutes projections here. Edit my minutes projections here. I've got some averages in here for now, but we'll see exactly how that goes. But we'll go game by game, team by team, and just give you a little bit of tidbits to help you out here for today's slate. So let's start off with the Indiana Fever versus the New York Liberty. I believe the Liberty are a 14-point favorite. 13.5. So again, and these teams, I believe, just played. Have they already played twice this season? It might be. I feel like we've seen this matchup before, and it's been a very, very short season already. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Actually, let's go to one of our favorite sites here. Add more funds. Check out a little bit of rotational data. For the Indiana Fever. Okay, so they just played 2 nights ago. Let's take a look. Clearly, those scores are backwards because the Fever definitely lost. But yeah, if we take a quick look here, it will filter for Indiana. Let's see here. We've got Caitlin Clark, Leah Boston, Melissa Smith, 25, Katie Lou, 18. So of course, this last game that they played here against the Liberty, minutes are going to be slightly skewed. Some of the bench players probably got a little bit more time here in the fourth. Let's see if we're looking at, it was only about 3 minutes or so extra, so nothing crazy. Let's take a look at their first game here against the Sun. More balanced lineup. So who got some playing time that didn't last game? Lexi Hole, Victoria Saxon. See if was there any foul trouble here? I know Caitlin Clark had some foul trouble the first game. Nothing significant. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. Probably. We assume a blowout similar to last game. We can probably reduce the starters just a tad bit here. Don't normally like to assume blowouts just because obviously for fantasy sports purposes, we're going to want all these people projected at their normal rotational minutes. Obviously, any day of the week, these games could blow out, and that's going to affect certain things. But we can only project what we can project. But when the spread gets to 12, 14, 15 points, I do kind of like to take that into account just a little bit. So if we're chatting, Eric Wheeler, Grace Berger, still didn't get much minutes here for Berger. Let's reduce her down just a tad bit. Christy Wallace, 10, Lexi Hole, 10. So 10 got. And just looking at the slate initially, it looks like we're going to be struggling for value just a little bit. So we'll probably want to take a look here at Timmy here, who's going to be getting, roughly 20 minutes. Even if we take out the blowout minutes here at the end, we're at 17. We'll check into her price here in just a second to see if that might be a source of value for us. Sorry, real quick. Let's just make sure we're getting the appropriate minutes here. Yeah, so we definitely have some minute issues here. There we go. Of course, we lose that. Okay, so Indiana, we're about flat with 200 minutes. Let's take a quick look here at their salaries. Nobody, let's see. Yeah, so like I mentioned, if we end up getting 20 minutes here at 4.3K, it might be a good source of value here on the slate to be able to fit in some of the higher price players. Nobody else really stands out. And again, whenever I'm playing anybody on Draftkings, I'm looking for 18 or more minutes. If you're not getting you're not playing almost half the game, I'm not going to be really interested in rostering you. So again, at 20 minutes here, Erica Willer 6.3. Nobody else really stands out from a value perspective. Obviously, we'll have to run the projections here once we wrap up the minutes to see if anybody's fantasy point per dollar is extremely out of whack. But just right off the bat, from a minutes perspective, we're looking at maybe a source of value here. Let's go ahead and take a look at. One other thing. Just make sure that we're not missing any injury news. I like to use RotoWire just to get the quick table for injuries. We look at Indiana. Okay, so we already had Nantes out, so that won't affect us here. So let's go ahead and move on to their opponent for the day, the New York Liberty. All right, so we're already missing minutes. So let's go ahead and take a quick look. Maybe Hamilton. Okay, so she is a starter. So starters got roughly 30 minutes here, even in a blowout. So that's a pretty solid baseline. Didn't get significantly higher there for the close game with the Mystic on opening night. So we'll go ahead and project them for their normal minutes. It seems like this rotation is pretty set in stone, and if we find ourselves in a competitive game here, we don't want to be under projecting Brianna Stewart, Jacquel Jones, and the like. So let's go ahead and give them we'll go ahead and flat them all out here at 32, just to be well rounded. And that still puts us at 200 minutes. So I think, let's see if there was anybody here who got a significant boost from game to game. Actually, let's do this before we move any further. New York Liberty. All right, we don't have any additional injuries. And so this is one view that I like to use from RotoWire. If you click anybody on any of the individual teams, you can see this minute breakdown view. And so you can just kind of see over the last 5 games if there's been any significant changes. Again, with the starters, we kind of already saw this is going to be blowout related for the most part. So 8 to 11, 8 to 11, 5 to 10. That looks like that's all blowout related. So we probably don't need to make any bench adjustments. Again, none of these players are playing over 18 minutes, so I'm not too concerned here. As long as we've got the starters projected for a decent amount of minutes, we should be, or their expected minutes, we should be fine. Let's see here from a value standpoint. Again, we'll have to check and see once the projections are done running. But again, Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones can break any slate. They've got block steal upside, so we should obviously have them in our player pools. These fantasy points, I believe, are just the averages, because this is just the free version of RotoWire. So I believe these are just averages. But if we even just take their averages, and we want to take a look at value, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu is going to be a little bit maybe a little tad bit underpriced. I know this is a pretty large slate, so we're gonna have a couple of people over 10K, but maybe that's a nice GPP option to throw in if you've got to go a little bit more balanced than stars and scrubs. But yeah, so let's take just quick value check here as well. Yeah, nobody looks egregiously mispriced. Katie Lou Samuelson, again, just going back to the figure real quick. Still cheap. I believe she was 3K on opening night, so definitely not the value she was then. But again, like I said, we might be diving here in the lower salaries and trying to scavenge for some value. So just another player to keep in mind. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the LA Sparks. Any injury news here? Looks like they were already out opening day, so I think we should be fine here. Let's just double check. I don't know if Ray Burrell was playing or not. Okay, so she played very little game one. What spread do we have here? It's also, yeah, this also has to be a large spread. Okay. It's always difficult projecting these large spreads because, again, never know when you can't really predict a blowout. I mean, obviously Vegas is pretty good. So assuming that the question is does this get out of hand early or does this get out of hand late? And again, so we can't really project whether or not that's going to happen, but we're going to do our best here. Cameron Brink, I know she ran into some foul trouble very early on the first game of the season. Yeah, literally, this first stint was 3.5 minutes. You can see she's got 2 early fouls and had to sit the rest of the quarter. I'm curious where that puts this 19 minutes. As you see, it looks like her and Rickea Jackson did not share the floor together last game, so that makes me a little bit concerned here with Rickea Jackson getting her 18 minutes. Again, the baseline we had here was 20.5. I'm probably going to lower that. It seems literally that they were 1 for 1 throughout that game, never sharing the court. So again, if you're using an optimizer, I'd probably separate my lineups there and make sure that I'm only playing one. It looks like their upsides are going to be negatively correlated. Again, only one game in, so we have to take that with a grain of salt. But if I'm choosing one, obviously Brink is the one I'm trying to play as the starter, as well as looks like she has a little bit more upside. Again, rookies, so it's tough to tell. But Cameron Brink looked pretty good the other night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take their 40 minutes and I'm going to just distribute them out evenly, or not evenly, but distribute that one position out to the 2 of them. So if I'm going to give Brink 25, I'm going to have to move Jackson down to 15. Again, they might see something different this coming game, but I mean, if we're looking at their rotational chart here, it was literally Brink out, Jackson in, Brink out, Jackson in. Like it looked like they were in a pretty 50-50 split, but gonna account for the foul trouble a little bit here for Cameron Brink, and hope she gets a little bit more time there. Everybody else, let's see here. Hamby went for 37 minutes. She played a really good game the other night. Let's give her 36. That's fine there. Clarendon also played a really nice game, but 48 fantasy points. Wow. 30 minutes. Lexi Brown, same. Yeah, I think everyone else pretty much. 197, who's not getting minutes here to... Oh, it's the 2 from Ray Burrell. Okay, and who does she come in for? Lexi Brown, Kia Nurse. So we'll distribute those 1.5. Just to make sure we're getting all 200 minutes there. Okay, so let's take a quick look at salaries. Cameron Brink, 7.8. Fantasy point, if we just assume she's a fantasy point per minute, obviously more than that. but 1 point something fantasy points per minute. We gave her 25 minutes, 30, yeah, so 30, 35. Okay, so that wouldn't be ridiculously off here, but again, yeah, nobody from a salary perspective. I know the game one, they've definitely done a much better job here with the salaries here for this slate. The first slate we had Skylar Diggins really cheap, we had Samuelson really cheap, so the value was quite clear. Today we're looking at a little bit better pricing, which is always a good thing. Again, from a minutes perspective, nobody seems to be outrageously priced here, which is good. It's always good for the game. Makes decision making a little bit more difficult. So yeah, we'll go ahead and move on here to the aces. Again, got a pretty big spread here. I don't know why Admiral Funds has the points backwards, but I'm pretty sure the Aces won the other night. Aces have been known over the last couple of years to run a really tight rotation. 5, 6, 7 deep max has been their trend. They're going to play their starters a lot. Even in the cases of blowouts, you're still pushing 30 minutes. I know these are playoff games, so obviously minutes can be slightly inflated. But if you even look back into the regular season, still pushing 30 in blowouts. They've got a tight rotation, and they're gonna play their players, which is a good thing. The difficult thing, slightly less difficult to start the season with Candace Gray out, or Chelsea Gray, sorry. With Chelsea Gray out, it's you're getting a little bit more consolidated here. They normally have a big four, and then even last year they had Candace Parker for a little bit coming off the bench. But you're gonna get what you're gonna get from Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young, right? So I mean, those are going to be the big three that you're going to want to play here. The rest, look at the fantasy point distribution, right? 51, 62, 32, and then everybody else just kind of brings up the rear here. So as long as we're projecting our the big three here, we should be fine. The game on, was it Tuesday? A lot closer than I think most people expected. So I'm not sure if that's going to be the same case here today. I believe the spread is much larger today here against the Sparks, who are a much younger team than the Sun, or sorry, the Mercury. So again, I'm probably going to just knock down Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young just a little bit, and do something similar we did with the Liberty. We'll go starters at 32, and then distribute a little bit out to the bench. Stokes is fine. Colson's fine. Bell. I feel like I'm missing somebody here. Yeah, we might get some minutes from the deeper bench here if this game gets out of hand. Sorry, let's check here real quick. Lost by 11 to the Dream. Okay, but yeah, like I said, we're gonna get heavy starter, or not heavy starter, but we should get normal minutes here from the big three. Also, if they don't end up getting, if they don't end up getting their full allotment of minutes, it's probably because one of the big three went absolutely nuts. So obviously the big three are in play every time there's a slate. You might be able to take some flyers here on Colson, who 3.9K again, diving deep down into the salary bank here, trying to find some value. Colson, already projected to get 12 minutes. If this game gets outrageously out of hand and she gets, an extra 6 minutes in the fourth or an extra 5 minutes in the fourth, could be a decent source of value down here. Outside of that, yeah, she's probably the only fringe play here. Gustafson's a little bit too high priced to not be playing a solid amount of minutes. So yeah, give me the big three, sprinkled around, and then probably have a little bit of Colson dabbled in there a little bit just for value's sake. All right, let's take a quick look at Chicago. All right. Also, again, rookies in foul trouble. Angel Reese also got a little foul trouble here on opening night. Curious if that means she's going to be playing, mid 30s, similar to the rest of the squad here. Probably going to project her as such. Just because I do think, I think she had a solid outing the other night. Clearly has the usage, so more time as she gets better and gets more experience in the league, she'll be just fine here. She's a great rebounder, great scorer. Pretty good scorer, I guess I should say. That to be determined there, but. Definitely has the opportunity here with Chicago Sky. So we'll go ahead and continue. Shields, doesn't look like there was any foul trouble per se, but she did sit quite some time here in the third. Makes me a little bit concerned, but we'll keep her at the 18 minutes here. Elizabeth Williams, 3. Trinity Card definitely played less minutes than expected last week. Chop some people down just a little bit here. So if we're going to boost Reese, we're going to have to drop some of the other centers. Okay, yeah, just again some small edits here that we're making just for foul trouble that we saw on Tuesday and any other situations that may have come about. But yeah, again, only one game here into the season for the Chicago Sky, so it's going to be hard to really tell if this is the set rotation. But it does look like you've got a solid 4 with minutes projections, and you kind of just gotta X out the rest if you're building lineups today. Again, unless they are crazy cheap, and nobody is crazy cheap. Again, when I'm talking crazy cheap, I maybe $3K or something like that. Can't play the Shields at $7K if she's only going to play 18 minutes. So that's something to monitor here as the early season goes on. Let's see here. Yeah, again, nothing pricing wise sticking out. Obviously, like I mentioned before, the projections will be up here in the next 15 to 20 minutes or so on the website. So feel free to grab a subscription over there to see our latest projections. Again, like to be a little bit different from the industry. That is the way to win GPPs, but with basketball being most easily projectable sport, you're gonna have to eat some chalk somewhere. But we can definitely find some ways to zig where everyone else zags. So let's go ahead and take a look at Dallas. This feels like they just played. Okay, they did just play. I'm not going crazy here. It's weird that they were playing, seems like the same teams. But yeah, let's take a quick look at Dallas. Sorry, making sure there's no news coming through while we're on here. Okay. So that does make me a little bit concerned about Angel Reese's foul trouble, just because we do have 2 bigs. Oh no, and actually Howard is out, I believe, with a broken foot, if I recall correctly. So quick check on injuries with Chicago. Okay, nothing new there. Okay, yeah, Howard and Brown, who both played on Tuesday night, will not be playing today. Ooh, that makes for interesting. What is the spread here? Still -6 for Dallas. That is quite interesting. Oh, it looks like it's gone down to -5 here, but still interesting that they're the favorites. Okay. Missing two key players. So let's take a quick look. Okay, so okay, definitely gonna have to play her full allotment of minutes. Who came in for Brown? Lou Lopez, Stephanie Soares. All right, so it looks like they're gonna be filling in with multiple people there. What about Howard, Maddie? Oh shoot, I mean, Howard played almost all of the game. So we're definitely missing a player here. So let's go ahead and add. Yeah. Ooh, 3.5. Yep, that's going to be the value of the day. Right there. Lou Lopez. If Howard's out, if Brown is out, let's take a quick look at their depth chart for just positional purposes. So yeah, it's going to be Maddie and Lou Lopez, probably a little bit of Jace Shelton as well. Yeah, so we're missing the 23 minutes probably here. Yeah, okay. Lonnie Brown strictly plays when McCowan is out. So where we got 28. Again, until they show me that they play together, we're going to separate the two there. Maddie is probably going to start. Soares got a decent chunk in there yesterday. 2, 4. I don't want to project her for that many minutes after only playing 5. Let's do a quick search, see if there was any news release since she made her debut. So they've got Soares projected as the starter, which obviously makes sense due to, well, not really. I mean, we're just talking about half and half here. Let's do that. We'll split them down the middle. It's very difficult to project here. I think we're going to have to give. Looks like they're going to have to play Brown alongside of McCowan a little bit here with Howard out. So definitely a tricky situation here. Definitely Enrique and McCowan are definitely in play here at any price point. I mean, missing Natasha Howard, they have the ability to go nuts here today. Again, and they already played pretty well here Tuesday night, so you can only imagine that it'll be better. Usage will go up, but again, this probably is going to be our main source of value. Not really going to have a choice here. We got 3.5K, 4K. Obviously, depending on who's announced the starter, will be significant here. Does lead for a little bit of a tricky slate. I mean, the slate does start 1 p.m. Eastern time. You've got games all throughout the day. So this will be a significant factor, how you decide to set up your how you decide to set up your lineups to be able to shift here will probably be important. So keep that in the back of your mind as you're building your lineups. Beware of late swap might be necessary. Playing 3 people from the wings, 3 players. Yeah, I mean, the value is probably coming here, so you're probably going to have to. We saw the upside of the big 2 here. Probably going to have to play a lot of wings. It's looking like that's probably going to be the chalk route. So maybe figure out which one you can fade. I probably don't want to fade the value, so figure out which one of the top prices you can fade. Maybe some of the players here in the Vegas game. Maybe that game doesn't blow out. You get maybe a little bit less ownership on the players there. But yeah, Dallas is definitely going to be a source of value, source of cheap value, and even high price value. I feel like these projections, obviously. These aren't the Roto Wire premium projections, so take them with a grain of salt. But I would expect our projections to come in a little bit higher on both of these high price players here. All right, let's take a quick look at Atlanta. Check and make sure we check on the injury news. Jordan Canada, I think they were already out. Yeah, okay, so we're just missing Cheyenne Parker minutes. Check to see, foul trouble. There was definitely foul trouble here. Guess not necessarily foul trouble, that's weird. 2 minutes in, 1 foul. That just looks like that might just be a rotational thing. It's quite interesting. I'd be curious to watch Parker's minutes as the season progresses. That first stint is really weird. Yeah, that makes me a little bit nervous here about Parker. Obviously, we'll still project her for the minutes that she played, but something to keep an eye out. She may be splitting time with Nat Tillman. And Nat Tillman coming in that early feels like something wasn't gelling. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. One surprise was Tina Charles playing 32 minutes. I didn't expect her to play that many minutes on Tuesday. So definitely in play. Let's take a quick look at their pricing. Tina Charles, Ryan Howard. I wouldn't play Parker here at 9.5 with just the uncertainty around that rotation. That was just really, really weird to me. So I probably won't be playing much of her. But yeah, Tina Charles, Ryan Howard, definitely in play. No egregious pricing. So once again, we're going to be stuck here with the Dallas Wings is what it's looking like. Let's take a quick look at the Phoenix Mercury, and then we'll do a quick slate overview, and we will go from there. Rebecca Allen is a game time decision. Oh, that sucks with that being the last game on the slate. Let's take a quick look. Who played Liz Dixon? Okay, so it looks like Liz Dixon came in for Rebecca Allen. If Allen is out, my guess is 3.6K. So that leaves us with a very interesting spot. Sorry, let's go through the minutes first, and then we'll talk about that injury news. We got a 1 point game, expecting it to be, or 2.5. Sorry, that's the open. But we do see the over under has increased 2.5 points here. looks like that is the largest increase. So they're expecting a higher pace game here. Again, not significantly higher than the rest of the league, but definitely steaming that way. Taurasi shot the lights out, if I recall, the other night. Pretty flat here. Nothing crazy. 28.5. Copper, yeah, we'll give her 32. Dixon is going to be the key here, probably. 3.25 fantasy points in 5 minutes. At 3.6K, if she ends up starting, if Allen's out and she ends up starting for some reason, that could lead to some pretty good value. Worry about the usage going into the starting lineup, so that's another factor as well. So something to keep in mind. But if you're not too sure about the Dallas value that we saw here, might be a pretty decent pivot. So maybe make sure to play one of the two, and that way you can easily swap here before the start time if we get that Rebecca Allen news. Might be the route to go, or hey, you just plug her in, live and die with the results. I mean, it could end up being a really good choice or a poor one. Obviously, those are the two choices, but definitely a way to pivot away from the field. Most people, I would imagine, I say 10 a.m. because it's Pacific time for me, but with the slate starting so early, it becomes very easy to forget about it 9 hours later. So if you're still tuned in and focusing at that time, that might be a nice little pivot there. If you don't want to take the risk of missing out on this particular value, you could even play both, and just make sure that you've got two players from the Atlanta Phoenix game, and that way you can make some shifts. If you have to go from Dixon and Howard to Hillman and Copper or something along those lines, give yourself an out if you do want to just lock in that difference, because again, most people are not going to lock in 3.6K without knowing any information about Allen. So that might be a quick way, that might be a nice easy way to pivot off of some of the Dallas value that we know is going to be chalkier because Howard's out, as well as, sorry, I forgot who else was out. It's Howard and Brown. So yeah, we know people are going to be on the Dallas Wings value. Might be an easy way to pivot away from that. But yeah, let's just take a quick look as a whole. If we just filter by the value here in RotoWire, they've got Lou Lopez up there pretty high. That clearly, again, the Dallas value is where most people are going to start. It's going to be interesting to see if we can find something different. That'll be my task here over the next hour or so here before lock, to try to find a different value outside of Dallas. But then again, maybe it is you just plug them in and you rotate the higher price players here, and try to capture some of that upside. Again, different routes, different strokes. So we definitely something to think about. But yeah, outside of that, nothing else here for today. Just a quick rundown of some of the injuries and fouls and foul situations that we saw on Tuesday, just to give you a little bit of extra insight that maybe you didn't see in the box score. Again, check us out at fastbreakfantasyhoops.com. We've got prize picks, we've got underdogs, we got Draftkings, even a little basic optimizer for those of you who are looking for something different. But yeah, again, trying to stream here anytime that there is a 4-game slate. I know that there's the schedule gets a little a little bit different here during the week, but hopefully at least on the weekends we'll get these larger slates, and I can hop on and talk you guys through some of the insights here of the WNBA. Wish you all best of luck in your contest today, and we'll catch you next time. All right, peace.